Yeah, good evening, everyone. Let's open July 15th, 2021.
This
Historic
meeting
Commission
is being recorded.
First is on our agenda, I believe, is yes, welcome our new member, Majid.
Thank
Hello,
you.
Majid. Nice to
Good,
have you aboard.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Look forward to working with you. Look forward to meeting in person.
Sure, me too.
And Majid, I understand that you're an architect in town and that you were part of the group that worked on the housing component of the Envision Easton master plan.
Yes, that's true. The steering committee of master plan. Yes, that was a 2-year, I think, thing that I did in the past. And I'm an architect, a registered architect. Actually, I'm working at home,
Yep.
mostly in the same area. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next is our minutes from the June meeting.
If I could, I believe that we're supposed to read our remote meeting procedures at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's a strange technicality, but here we go. So in keeping with an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed into law by Governor Baker on June 16, 2021, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count toward quorum. The meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on ECAT. While conducting meetings remotely, we will endeavor to keep meeting operations as close to our standard procedures as possible. However, there are some additional meeting protocols. While board and commission members will be on video and audio, public participants will join the webinar as an attendee, meaning that they'll be muted with no video feed. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll sort of promote you to panelists when there's a sort of dialogue happening. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public can be recognized by using the raise hand function found under participants from Zoom, or make a request with the Q&A function. And if you're joining by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. And I think that gives us enough to be going forwards with. So that's how we're going to operate. And also an important component, when we do votes for the board members, we'll need, if you could identify yourself by your last name and like a motion, last name second, and then it has to be roll call vote. It's a little tedious, but there we go. So thanks. Yeah. So handing back over to Tim. Actually, we should designate Bob as a voting member. So motion the second.
Yes. All right. So motion Hurley, yes.
Okay. So we got a motion from Hurley. Do I have a second?
Motion from Bishop, second.
Okay. And roll call vote to designate Bob Bishop as a voting member. Tim.
Hurley, yes.
Okay. Greg.
Strange, aye.
Thank you. Amy.
Spencer, yes.
Thank you. Majid.
Yes.
Okay. And you should say like your last name and
Lashkari, yes.
Thank you very much. And then of course Bob.
Bishop, yes.
Thanks very much. Great. And then Tim, as you mentioned, the June 8th minutes.
Yes, the June 8th minutes. Everybody had a chance to read them, hopefully. We need a
motion to approve.
Yep. Second.
I'll second.
Okay, so I hear a Strange a motion, a second from Bob Bishop. All right, roll call vote to approve the June 8 minutes. Tim.
Hurley, approve.
Thank you. Strange.
Strange, aye.
Amy.
Spencer, yes.
Thank you. Majid.
Yeah, actually, that was a question. I wasn't in that part of this commission at that time. I don't know if I can just.
You can, if you've read them and they seem accurate, you can, but if you're more comfortable abstaining, that could also work. Either one is fine.
No, the Lashkari, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. And then Bob?
Bishop, yes.
Thank you very much. And let me promote Jamie Fisher as a panelist. And he should be, there he is. Okay, he should be up and running in just a minute for the.
Jamie's our sign guy?
He is, yes. So for Karen Gallo, the recording secretary's purposes, this is the Ames Local Historic District Certificate of Appropriateness application for the sign at 124 Main Street. And the applicant has submitted revised plans and specs for consideration at this meeting from the June 8th meeting. And there's Jamie. Hello and welcome.
Good evening.
Hi, Jamie.
How you
Hi.
doing?
So, Tim, how do we want to do this? Jamie, give a quick overview on the revisions or questions from any of the.
Well, I think everyone, if everyone received their email, they've seen the revisions of a blade sign with a frame as we requested. And I believe it's raised lettering on the sign, which is a little hard to see
Yes, sir.
on the email. It's hard to pick that up, but I don't know how other board members feel, but I believe you've done what we've requested.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else?
Yeah. So if I may, yeah, we've implemented the shadow box effect. So it'll now cast a shadow, adding additional body structure and dimension to the sign per the board's kind of request. And then as
Right.
far as the dimensional letters, yeah, that'll be constructed out of 3/8 acrylic. So it certainly does have some depth and body to it. It will be notable from the street view and walkway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Strange, motion to approve.
Bishop second.
Okay, hold on. We got Strange motion, Bob Bishop second. Great, thank you. Any further discussion?
I don't believe so.
Okay, great. Let's just go through the roll call then. Tim?
Hurley, approve.
Okay, thank you. Greg?
Strange, aye.
Amy?
Spencer, yes.
Thank you. Majid?
I would say yes, but I have actually a concern as well that I want to, just bring it up. As long as the size of the sign, it seems it is right now something around 44 inches deep. Really, I think maybe it can be a little smaller, not that deep, because this comes over the walkway or something. And that's some concern I brought up. I would say yes, but I want to let you know that that's my concern, just the size of the sign, how it's gonna look like after it's up there. Maybe if it could be a little smaller, maybe 40 inches instead of 44 inches or something like that.
Jamie, yeah?
So if I may, it's actually 42 inches projecting off the storefront facade rather than 44. And as far as the size in terms of scale on the building's facade, if you refer to the bottom right corner of the conceptual rendering that Wayne supplied on our screens here, you'll see a visual indicator mocked up to a rough scale, with consideration to the fact that we've surveyed that actual facade there. So for all intent and purpose, that is a conceptual rendering mocked up to scale. That is exactly how it'll look visually once installed, hopefully in the future, on the facade of that building.
Yeah, actually, the 44 that I mentioned is after the revision because you added another 2 inches, I think, like a border to it. So
Guys,
what I
if I
mentioned
could,
is from the
We're just a
wall.
little out of order here. We have a motion and we're voting. So at this point, it's really a vote in favor or vote against, unless someone wants, and if it doesn't pass, then we can open it up against a discussion. I just think we need to follow the rules here.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
And then our last person, I think, would be Bob.
Approve.
Thank you. So what I've got, Hurley, yes. Strange, yes. Spencer, yes. Bishop, yes. And Majid is
Yes.
yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Sure.
So Jamie, I'll put this together in an official letter for your certificate of appropriateness for the revised sign, and I'll send that out by email either tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'll copy the building inspector and board chair Tim Hurley.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the
Thank you,
input.
Jamie.
Really appreciate it.
Appreciate
Have a
your
good
time.
one.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mark, don't mean to be a stickler, but I don't want to open up the door for appeals.
Yeah. Yeah, the time to have that conversation, I think, is the motion, the second, and then like conversation, and then the vote. So like when you're in the vote.
This gets easier when we can do it in person.
Yeah, once we
My
start
soon, I
voting,
hope.
discussion ends.
Yeah.
All right, it's my time to step out. Before I go, I talked to John earlier about photo contest, and it looks like he wants to do it again. So just to mention it.
Okay.
All right.
Do we want to talk about the Hayward Pool outreach before?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Yourself, I think it doesn't have to be terribly long. So for Aaron and the public, last fall, the town approved a local historic district, Easton second local historic district, down in the Hayward Pool area off of roughly Morse Road and Foundry Street, about 5 or 6 properties down there. So we should, as a commission, have some sort of an outreach or a sign program or a some sort of a celebration. So if people have thoughts about that, we can talk about it this meeting, or if you want to sort of think, and then we can talk a little more detail at a future meeting, we could certainly do that. Do people have some thoughts?
Well, I think, and I think it must have been just you and me, Wayne, that talked about it. That if we would continue the wait for the Harley Davidson to go by. If we continue with the signs color that we had downtown, which turns out to be not real visible, as to whether we, do we have to carry the same colors through town? I don't believe we do. We could designate different areas by different colors, whatever. But that was just my thought on it, is change up the colors.
Okay. So do we want to have a more in-depth conversation at a future meeting about outreach to the property owners, an event, some sort of a greeting from commission members to the property owners?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I don't think it could hurt to involve them, let them feel they're involved in it.
Yeah, that would be great. I've promoted, so I see John Ventresco here, and I've promoted him to panelist, and he's not showing up. Okay. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, so let's give it a little more thought and come up with some sort of public outreach program, so we can actually greet and welcome the property owners, put up some signs, educational.
I'll stop up. I became pretty good, pretty friendly with 3 or 4 of those people. So families, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll stop out and talk to them.
Cool. Well, thank you. So I see, taking a step back. Okay, so we've got John as analyst, but I'm not seeing him yet. No. All right. Well, yeah, so John is an attendee, and I keep promoting him as a panelist, but he keeps not showing up. I don't know why. Okay, so Tim, we've lost you. Are you going to sort of recuse yourself from the meeting?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I guess we're sort of done with that part of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tim. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. So Tim Hurley left the meeting at 6:47, recusing himself from the 130 Lincoln Street discussion. Okay. And all right. So I'm not sure why John Ventresco is not actually appearing as a panelist. John, I keep promoting you to a panelist, which has worked for everyone else, but doesn't seem to be working for you. I'm not sure why. I'll try one more time. John Ventresco will be rejoining the webinar as a panelist. right, okay, there's John, good.
Can you hear me, Wayne?
Yes, hello, John, welcome.
Oh, finally, I got in. I'm sorry I'm late coming into the meeting. I had another meeting and I thought it was gonna go late. So I thought I'd chirp in.
Hey, John.
Joined at 6:48.
Hey, Bob.
All right, so this is the demolition review application for 130 Lincoln Street. As folks may remember, the 12-month demolition delay was voted on by the commission in December. So there's about 5 more months left to go. And we're hoping that this meeting, we could get an update from various board and commission members about any progress that may have been made in finding some sort of a solution or alternative for the for the structure. So with Tim gone, who do we want to be our chair? Would that be John as our vice chair? Would that make sense?
Sure.
I would second that John do it.
Okay, great. So John, you'll be chairing the meeting from here.
I apologize. I'm not getting a video.
It's okay. It's the best you've looked in years, John.
Thank you.
Hi, Greg.
But we can hear you. Okay. And if you can hear us, that should work out fine. So John, how do you want to take it from here? We've got, as attendees, we've got Kathleen Green, we've got Paula Norton, who I recognize from the Friends Crossing Association, and also a name, Anthony Sadaway, a name I don't recognize, but perhaps they're from the association as well. Should I promote them? Let's see, what are my options here? I think I can allow them to talk, so I can definitely turn on. What would you like to do, John? I think we can.
Okay, so are they on now? Can we?
Yeah, let me just, here's Kathleen allowed to talk. There's Paula allowed to talk. They're both muted. Okay, Kathleen's unmuted herself. Kathleen, hello and welcome.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for joining tonight. Do you recognize Anthony Sadaway? Is he someone from your group as well?
Yes, all 3 are board members.
Oh, great. I'll turn him on as well. Great. There we go. Thank you. Okay. So, you know, like I said, demolition delay is ongoing. And do we have any updates from the commission?
On my end, the last time I had left it, welcome Kathy, Paula, and Anthony, I believe. I had actually reached out to our historians in town and asked what their input, advice would be on whether or not we were heading in the right direction with the demolition, and staying true to that. And it was unanimous that they felt that it was an important structure and that they felt.
Have they seen it?
Yes, they have. They're very familiar with it. And they sent me both emails that they were surprised that there wasn't an interest in the property for a multitude of reasons that we've already discussed. And if the board needed a written, I'm sure you have history of the property, but if you needed that, then to let us know, we'd be happy to send that to you. But these, historians have quite an interest in our community and have been instrumental in the preservation of our community and with historic structure and open space. And that, again, they were unanimous in that, without a doubt, we were in the right direction in doing what we were doing to confirm the commission's position on the property. I know it's not what you want to hear, but I thought it was important that we reach out to people like this and to confirm, again, our direction on the property. And that's what
Mr.
I
Chair,
have.
if I may. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No, I am, sir.
So I just want to say, you know, if we recall in this vote, I actually was in the minority. I voted against this. Not that I wasn't in favor of preserving it, but I just didn't see a path going forward. And I think it's important to remember, as we discussed at that time, the purpose of demolition delay was to give up to a year for a solution to try to be worked out.
Correct.
And I guess I assumed, since the majority of this board voted in favor of it, that some faction of this board would work towards try to put a solution together. And maybe they have, maybe they haven't. I don't know. I haven't been privy to any discussions. But I think I'm just concerned as a longtime member of this board that, you know, I don't want to give a bad reputation to demolition delay by just holding it up for a year. So I think we need to get, the clock's already ticking, but I would hope, and maybe there's going to be an update tonight, but it doesn't seem like there is. But, you know, I think we need to button this thing up in the next, you know, meeting or two. If there's, you know, if someone's not going to be able to put a solution together, it's not, you know, then.
Well, we actually, I'm sorry, go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead, John. I'm sorry, John.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, so anyway, I mean, we did this in December, right? So here we are 7 months in.
Yes.
And
I do have.
I haven't heard any updates.
I have an update.
All right, good. Then I'll be quiet.
I'm going to go to you, Amy.
Mid process though, so I don't have a whole lot of details, but we have been starting to investigate the potential of moving the house, and that's all I know right now. I don't have any other details, but that is one option that could maybe benefit everyone here and result in saving the cottage.
I also have an update, if I can speak too.
You can't see me.
Yes, absolutely.
I, upon myself as an associate member, I spoke to a well-known restorer builder from the town of Easton,
Only
Mr.
showing
King,
the person who's talking.
and they expressed a little bit of interest in trying to save this building. Now, I don't know whether anybody has contacted each other, but Mr. King's office had expressed a little bit of concern, not concern, but interest in trying to save this building. And I also kind of agree with Amy's idea of let's see about maybe getting this building moved to somewhere where we can save it. I mean, I hate to see this go by the wayside. I mean, I understand the concerns from the board members, but I also think that we can come up with an alternative here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Now, Amy had had a contact at Southeastern Vocational. This was back a month or two ago, Amy?
It was a few months ago, I think.
Yeah. And I want to believe they got in touch with the chair, which obviously was Tim. And I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, how that went. I thought it was actually positive. Originally, the conversation went with the vocational that they weren't interested. And then it came down to they'd like to see the property. We sent some pictures. And again, I'm not sure where it stood.
I think, John, what happened is, so they were interested. So just to fill everyone else in, it would be like a student involved sort of project.
Correct.
Where they would restore the cottage. And I think from what I had heard is that it came down to there's certain legal guidance that they have to follow. And I think they can only work on certain types of projects, like through, say, a nonprofit organization or something. So I think that that's what sort of stopped it in its tracks.
And also, if I recall, a two-way street where you have to have the applicant want to pursue it. So maybe Kathy, Paula, or Anthony can add to that. If it's only from one side or difficult, where you have to have, again, unison of both sides to be able to pursue this.
So I'm sorry, but what's the idea that they would move the cottage, or they would fix it on site, or what would they do?
That would be for them, the Southeastern Regional students, to fix it on site,
Okay.
exactly where it is.
Okay, so just as a resident and as a board member, you know, the longer this goes on, I feel that there's a lot of people at Friends Crossing that feel like it's affecting everyone's property values because it looks so terrible right now. It's in such state of disrepair. So I guess you're all aware of that, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate that. So
I think that was the idea. What we're trying to do is help you guys try and come up with an alternative to this. You know, there's also the possibility of just getting some landscaping done around it that will make it somewhat appear better. I do realize it is in need of some repair, but some normal ground would make the area a little nicer also.
yeah, well, there's, you know, I'm sure you're aware, but there's a hole in the side of the cottage. There's a hole in the roof of the cottage. You know, to someone coming in to look at the property and consider buying, for instance, you know, to them, they don't know the historical significance. They just know that it looks like a dilapidated building. So I think that's what I'm worried about personally. I mean, I think I appreciate your stand on it also. And, but I just, you know, I hopefully something will happen, you know, at some point soon. So I appreciate your efforts though.
Thank you. We appreciate that you feel. And we're not trying to, and I always want to.
Can I speak, Kathy Green here?
Yes.
Okay, so because we're board members, but we took a vote, this had to pass through the whole 113 owners. And they voted to take it down. So for us, we can't change anything. Even if we agree with what you're doing, we could maybe talk to the rest of the board, get a vote and bring it back to the owners. But the way the feeling of our ownership is they want it gone. And there is nothing that you've offered us that or have brought to us. And all we have is a very unsafe building that we are keeping insured. It's dangerous. There are critters in it now. And there is no flooring. The flooring has fallen down to the cellar. And we really have to make a movement on this. We thought maybe today you had something for us. And I think what I need to know is like when we might have either, yes, we've got a plan for you, or no, we don't. But it looks like you're just going to have us wait all the way until December.
Not necessarily so. If I may, we've given you a couple of things. We're also kind of asking you to reapproach your membership with, as Amy had mentioned, and I also mentioned, seeing about getting it moved possibly, see about somebody working. We're asking your people to come step forward with us and see if we can work together on trying to save this building. We do understand your concerns about the safety aspects as well, but we've kind of asked you guys to look into a couple of things, and you've said steadfast against trying to go forward with anything. And it's somewhat understandable, but we're asking you guys to bend a little bit as well and maybe reapproach your membership and say, listen, you know, do we want to look into moving this, selling it, or something like that? Again, that's my take on this. Thank you.
You know, so I think, you know, I think Ms. Green brings up a very good point. It was this board that voted to put this to demolition delay. So the onus, I believe, in this case, falls on us to come up with a solution. Whether it's, you know, I think it's a mistake of us they only work on this to have you know, updates when we meet here. Here we are. This is, I think, the first update we've had in 7 months. If there are people interested in moving it, or, you know, whatever, the conversations need to be had, first of all, with the condo board and with the residents, because it is their property and they'd have to obviously agree to it. And so somebody, whether it doesn't necessarily need to be a board member, but somebody needs to take the bull by the horn and deliver this. We voted, they came to us wanting to take it down. We said no. So we need to present a good idea to them that is palatable. I don't agree with saying, hey, you people need to come back to us. We're the ones who said no. They made it clear they want to take it down for understandable reasons. We're the ones that have the historical bone in our body. So someone needs to take the bull by the horn and either deliver this or set these people free. Because I do get concerned. It's been falling apart for a long time, not just in the last 7 months, but there could be a liability issue here. And I think we need to, we don't have a whole lot of work to show, for any possible solutions. So I think we need to, as a board, set some action items and, with some deliverables because we're running out of time. If we really do want, if someone's really going to come up with a plan to move this, then, that seems pretty simple. They should be talking to the board and getting permission to move it. That's all they have to do. I can't, I can't speak for these folks, but I don't know why they'd be opposed to that. But there may be some legal reasons or something. But I don't see that happening. I just see a bunch of ideas being kicked around. But it's great. But we're 7 months into this, and I don't think it looks good on the process, frankly. So.
Well, actually, Greg, I agree with most of what you said, but it really isn't on us. Actually, a joint effort. It has
right,
to,
John. But I think we. And I don't mean to cut you off, but we're the ones who decided to want to save it. So we should take the lead in it. I think in a joint effort, frankly.
Well, I don't see why we'd be opposed to having it moved, or if, then we would have to take I guess we'd have to take another vote to have it moved.
Yes, we would.
But we need to.
Yes, we would.
Address that. The other
And
option.
who would pay to move it?
Who would what, say to move it?
Who would pay to move it?
That would not be us, no.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
My suggestion would we've all gotten at each other on this. Let's maybe table it and the next meeting. Let's see if we can come up with a finalization answer on both sides here, so that again we don't keep battering back and forth here. See if we can help them, they can help us. See if we can come up with something at the next meeting. As Mr. Strange said, we're getting 7 months into this and we're just not going anywhere. There's been a couple of suggestions put out tonight. If we can look into that, or they can look into it, combination of all, and then we can do something at the next meeting.
Yeah, but I think to your point, Bob, what needs to happen, I hope if whoever these people are interested in moving it, I would hope that they contact the residents soon before the next meeting. So, because at the next meeting, I don't want to have another discussion about, maybe it can be moved. We should have some specifics and hear that, okay, hey, it's being worked on, it's being worked towards, because that's going to be pretty complicated from a legal standpoint, and that's going to take a little work out too. So if that's truly going to be a plan, then the masterminds, whoever they are, should get to work on it.
Could I just ask a question though? Because even Kathy had mentioned that, if you go from the exterior, it looks original, but the only part of the cottage that really seems to be in any kind of reasonable condition is possibly the frame itself, maybe, but all of the interior, it cannot be restored because it's just too far gone. The kitchen, I don't see what inside the cottage could be restored. You'd have to rebuild the entire interior of the cottage if you wanted to try to restore it. I don't know how that's feasible. That's just
At which point it would be a replica, not an original.
Yeah, that's a question. I'm not, I don't know if you guys have any information as to how that would happen, or why is it restorable?
Demolition delay, just like in most of our bylaws, it has to do with the exterior of the structure as viewed from these. So we don't really have purview over the interior of the structure. And what they'd be looking to do here, obviously, given the fact that there's no floor, it would be restoring the exterior and building, like someone just said, rebuild, creating a replica or creating whatever inside.
Yeah.
So what is our plan or action item going forward here?
So what does the board feel as far as 30 days, check into whatever the contacts are as far as possibly moving it, permanently. The issue I have with moving it is always been, no matter what size the structure is location. And that was a stumbling block. There's a lot of, with respect to the applicants and time, I would not be opposed to giving this 30 days more and make a final decision at the end of the 30 days at the next meeting. Anybody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion for that. I'll go along with that. That we try and come up with a resolution within the next 30 days.
And I want to reiterate to the applicants, trying to play hardball here or hard nose, this multiple times. We're appointed by the Board of Selectmen to oversee historical structures. And so we do, and it's not just our opinion, it's based on fact. And we have, and again, and I can use the names, Ed Hands and Hazel Varela, that they were unanimous in that whatever we could do to try to work with, and that the key word is with the applicant, but it's difficult on our end because we need, obviously the applicant in this case has no interest in any of the options other than it'd have to be, 100% into the property, which I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, because we're going back now a few months, it was going to be about 30 grand. Is that what your budget was?
$25,000.
$25,000, right?
What?
And I'm sure that has gone up on us now. I'm sure they're not going to hold that price for us.
Yeah, because they would need to do landscaping also. So it was, I think I'm not sure, but I thought it was closer to 30, like 28 or so.
Yeah.
No, it was
But
$25,000.
Okay.
To make this clear and not to go round and round, why don't we again make the Bob, if you wanted to.
Oh, John, if I could cut you off, I don't mean to, but I don't see we don't need to make a motion. We can just, because in theory, if we're trying to change the bylaw, we have a year. So if we say we have 30, we can just decide in 30 days, okay, we're going to cut it off. Problem is, if we make a motion that has to be solved in 30 days, if they come back in 30 days, we almost have a solution, and then we're violating our motion. So we just, sorry, I can't help but be a stickler as being on the chair of the board.
I appreciate.
We just don't need a motion for it.
Based on that, I'll rescind that. I'm sorry, I was not aware of that stipulation.
it's all
I will
good.
rescind it on that.
So what I'm hearing is we're going to meet in August, possibly the second week in August. We usually meet the second. Pre-pandemic, we would meet the second and sometimes the fourth Tuesday. So looking at my calendar here, the second Tuesday is August 10th.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing we plan to meet August 10 with a much more detailed proposal and communication from whoever the people are with this proposal to the condo board. So between now and August 10, there will be communications with the condo board. And at that August 10th, presumably meeting, we'll have a much more detailed proposal. Is that a fair summary?
It is. Unfortunately, just so you know, I won't be at that meeting. So
It doesn't have to be August 10th. We can pick another date.
Well, to your point, that sounds like, what we're trying to do.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
yeah,
And would we be able to have an in-person meeting on that one by that point, or are we still? I think that might help resolve some of the issues here, where we can talk face to face with people as well, if that's doable at that time frame, or are we still under the rulings here?
At this point, I don't know that we're doing in-person meetings. I don't think any other boards are doing in-person, so I think we should assume that it's going to be a remote meeting still.
Okay.
So when actually, is any, how can I get a little more information about this project? Because I'm new to this, maybe from the past meeting or something.
Yeah, go back on
I'm sure
ECAT, you can get the old meetings.
What?
Yeah, the ECAT has recordings of the meetings, Easton Community
Right.
Television. And the minutes of previous meetings have all been accepted and posted on the town website.
Okay.
So you can read that there.
So,
And I'm sure you can, stop by and park in the street and look at it. And if you had an interest in going inside, I'm sure you could, reach out to the condo.
All in.
What's the first step? It's a doozy.
all right, thank you.
I would be happy to meet anyone that wants to look at it.
Sure.
I just had, could I ask a question about the historians that you consulted with? And you said that they determined that it was
You're
definitely,
familiar,
go ahead.
go ahead. I don't know if you're familiar with Ed Hans and Hazel Varela.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
But what did they give a written description of why it's significantly, historically significant?
Yes.
Okay. Could
And
we
did
have
you
that?
send that to us?
You can.
Thank you.
I can actually, it's got other non-pertinent information according to this, but I will send an email to them after this meeting and have it forwarded. Do you have an address?
Yes, Wayne, do you have mine, Kay
I
Green?
do, yeah, I've got Kathy's.
Wayne, if you could send that to me, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
And then I will forward that to you as soon as I get the response back from Mr. Hans and Mrs. Varela.
Thank you.
Okay.
No problem.
All right, so a question for the board, would it make sense to see if we can agree on a meeting date in August where folks can actually be there? Okay, and then Greg, yeah, I think you can leave at 7:15. We'll still have a quorum. If that's okay.
Thank you, folks. I got to go to another Zoom.
Okay.
Take care,
Greg.
Heck of a job.
All righty, so let's, as a commission, we can agree on a meeting that works for folks in that week in August, the sort of Tuesday 10th, Wednesday 11th, that kind of thing. And find a date and time that works for everybody.
And I'm kind of open for any in that week.
Excellent.
At the 6:30 time.
And for Karen Gallo, our recording secretary, I gave a summary a few minutes ago. You can see that again in ECAT. So again, my understanding is whoever these people are with these ideas and proposals will, one, be in touch with the condo folks, and two, come to this meeting in early August with a solid proposal on how to proceed. So we'll have something more than just sort of speculation and conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
All right.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Bye.
joining, folks. Have a good night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So Paula and Anthony have gone. And then and Kathleen's gone now too. Yeah. So thanks again. So nothing else on the agenda, right? Yeah, and I think John, you just asked for a motion to adjourn, right? So I think
Yeah.
we're done.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I heard Ventresco motioned and Bishop seconded to adjourn, and roll call vote. Who do we still have? Okay, John. Ventresco, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And who next? That would go to Amy.
Spencer, yes.
Thank you. And then we would go to Majid.
Yes.
Thank you. And to Bob.
Bishop, yes.
Okay, so we are adjourned at 7:17 p.m. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Night.